Elder is pretty simple to prune. It's one of the easier plants to work for pruning, and a lot of people don't even prune it. But it does benefit from some basic pruning and training. The main point of pruning elder is because they tend to grow high. Some of the varieties of elder can grow past 20 feet tall. And even if you're only getting to 10 to 15 feet tall, that gets pretty high. It gets to the point where you can't really harvest it well and get in there. That's the whole main point of elder, pruning elder. Hi there, this is Jordy from Northern Homesteading, helping you to be successfully self-sufficient. You need to be able to get in and harvest your elder. If you can't get into it and manage it, then it's time to do some pruning. Quiet. I'll talk with you later. Pruning should make your plants more manageable. With elder, they tend to grow both out and up, so sometimes you really need to cut them back a lot. I don't get too aggressive with my pruning. It's more just cutting off the top so I can actually get to the top when I'm harvesting the berries. So today, that's all I'm really going to do is take off the top foot or so of these plants, and that's going to really keep the growth down next year so they don't continue to grow much more. Alright. Now this says don't step on the top step. I think that means I can sit on it though. Don't tell OSHA. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just take off the tops of these, the top section of all these twigs up here. I need to make the cut just below, or I'm going to make my cuts just below a joint up here, just below a node, where you got the bump on these twigs here with the little buds on it. That's the node. I'm going to make my cut just below the node. So we got the main trunk coming all the way up here. I'm going to leave this main stem intact and just take off what's coming off of the main stem up here at the top. So, like that. Okay, now you can use the regular pruning shears. I just don't have one. I use my machete. A nice sharp machete works just fine. Alrighty, okay. That one right there. Take this one right here. And that one there. This one right here. Alright, now that's about all I'm going to do on this one here. Doesn't take a whole lot, just enough to take that top off and they don't keep growing up higher. If your elder are much more overgrown and just completely unruly, you might want to come back and even come down to some of these lower branches that split out of the ground and just trim those off right at the ground. Do a more heavier, massive pruning. But for the most part, that's all I'm doing out here today, is just trimming the tops off. I do have a few spots where there's branches coming out a little further than I want, and I'm going to trim those off as well. So I've got a few branches coming out the base of these bushes. I want to trim those back. I don't want these getting out too wide because they're going to start getting in the way of my asparagus over here. And elder has a tendency to really want to grow wide. So I planted these plants almost too close together really, but now I've got to work with it. So next time I'm going to plant them more like 6 feet apart. I only planted these 4 feet apart on center. Wasn't quite really enough, but I can work with it. It just means I got to prune them back a little bit smaller, a little bit not so fat and wide. So dig in through here. Wow, that's incredible. How grass is always green under the snow. It's amazing. All right. There's a node right there. Right there. So I got that one. I'm trying to cut it as low as I can. Let's see. And then there's this one here. This one is all soft growth and it's all just dead. So that's nothing. That was all softwood. The softwood dies back in the winter. But this one is a hardwood growth. This one's actually not even coming out from the base over here. It's a whole different sprout. They tend to sprout up through roots as the roots spread because they have a very shallow root system. They don't go deep at all. Their roots are only a few inches under the soil. So when they get a root that's quite near the top, it gets just enough sun, it starts to sprout up. That's where this one came from. I just gotta break the ice around it. There we go. All right. And slice it down there. Okay. And this one I'm going to take off. This branch is just growing out too close to my asparagus and I don't want it to crowd out the asparagus, which is definitely where it's headed. So, there. So pruning your elder, keep it under control. Don't let it overshade your other plants. Don't let it get too tall. And just keep an eye on it, because this stuff grows out like crazy and it grows pretty tall. Keep an eye on it and just keep it managed. So let's see here. This one, I don't want much past there, so I'll take this right here. Oh, come on. Okay, that right there, that right there, okay, that one, and that one. Now I'm cutting all of these right below that node because I'm going to go ahead and root these, and I need them, the node at the bottom for proper rooting of a cutting. So this is pretty easy, nothing tricky. I say that a lot, but it's always true when I say it. Nothing tricky that I'm doing here. It's as simple as that. Just make a nice clean cut. And this one. One of the problems that I had this past year were my plants were getting a little too tall up into the stronger wind, and I was losing a lot of the blossoms were blowing off from the upper level of these plants, which means I don't get any berries off of those blossoms. So I don't want them quite that tall this year. Come back to here. I'm gonna take this off, just one more down, I think. Yeah? Maybe. I'm thinking about it. No, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. Alright. So that's right there is pruning your elder. Basically, don't let it, unless you want to be working on a ladder all the time, I don't want it to get higher than what I can just bend the branch over and get to the ends of these to harvest berries this summer. If you want to keep your elder from really just getting ridiculously too tall and growing fast, you got to cut the main stem. If I were to cut this main stem back below this node right here, just cut it right there, it'll take about 2 years for this thing to really grow past that mark again. So if you really want to keep these shorter and controlled, you got to take the main stem, and that'll keep the whole thing from growing up. Alright, well, it's a frigid day out, so I'm going to go on, get inside and warm up with my elder cuttings. Hopefully I can get those to root for spring. Thanks for watching Northern Homesteading. And if you like this video, go ahead and click the like button, and that'll show me what kind of videos to keep working on for you guys. Thanks. Bye now.